to have the hips a little higher than the knees to help the back, so that when the hip is higher than the knees, what that allows for is for the three curves of the spine to be in a little bit more optimal alignment. It's taking a little physical stress off the body, which can impact, of course, mental stress. And if you find that sitting on the floor is just uncomfortable for you in any way, you're welcome to sit in a chair or the posture that works for you. Sometimes I've started class with my back against the wall or lying down on the ground. So just really finding what nourishes you to begin. Because as we go into this practice, we are really intending to practice self-compassion. So as some of you might be still just kind of figuring things out, for those of you who are available and ready, just start to allow the breath to deepen, to start to come into the body. And if you can, allowing the breath to come in and out through the nose. And allowing for the eyes to rest on the horizon, or even maybe in the lower part of your visual field, maybe on a spot on the floor. Again, this beginning of our practice sets the tone for the rest of the practice. Just really noticing. And if, for instance, for right now, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose is feeling like it's almost too much, you're welcome to try breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, but finding even in this moment the breath that helps your body just to come in. Shifting the awareness to the contact of the bones of the body that are touching the floor, touching the earth. And giving appreciation for the many prayers of the ancestors of this land, the prayers of the people that have lived here for tens of thousands of years, their prayers for the well-being of their own family, the prayers of your own ancestors, that in some way, shape, or form have contributed to who and where you are and we are today. And for the parts that have felt supportive and nourishing, giving thanks for that experience. Continuing to, as we settle into this practice, we'll start in the first part of our practice, imagining, visualizing a benevolence, whether it's a benevolent feeling or a benevolent being. It can be an ancestor. It can be a presence that you believe in. Just imagining, allowing for it to be in a space around you, informing you. And this presence is here with your presence. And the earth is here supporting your presence. Just invoking a sense of kindness for yourself, tenderness to the being that exists here now in this moment in the Sangha together. We'll shift our awareness into our breathing. So maybe placing a hand on the part of the body where you feel the breath coming in the most naturally. Might be at the throat where you feel it the most, or at the chest, or at the belly. Or at the side ribs, or in the back. And just notice if you have a feeling of wanting to protect this area, the area where you're breathing, or you want maybe to open it, to have more space. You're going to let that feeling be there, allow it to rest and to acknowledge this. Then transition into a square breath. A square breath is a way of just helping our physiology come a little bit more into harmony, come a little deeper into the body. So to do this square breath, it's helpful to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And we'll breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, and hold for 4 counts. And that is 1 cycle. We'll do 5 to 8 cycles, depending on what feels best and right for you. Maintaining the sense of benevolence, tenderness, kindness to yourself. We'll start with breathing in through the nose and holding 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 2, 3, 4, and holding 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. And continuing this square breath on your own. And continuing for 1 more cycle, or resting. And then letting the breath go, breathing normally, letting go of technique. And at any point in our practice, if you would like to just sit and rest, feel free to ignore me, just doing what you need to do to really come home to yourself, come home to your body and body. So we're going to shift our practice now, continuing with this feeling of tenderness and embodiment by lying on the floor and coming to a rest on the floor with the knees bent. If you'd like, you can have the knees fall in towards each other. It's helpful to place the hands at the ribs and just notice the breath as you breathe in. There's an expansion of the rib cage, even slightly. And as you exhale, the rib cage moves back and down towards the center. And we'll continue that breath for 3 more breaths here, just noticing the expansion and contraction of the rib cage. Seeing if you can elongate that out breath just a little bit more. And in our next exhalation, we'll bring the knees up towards the chest. And just notice where your hands naturally want to go, whether it's around the back of the thighs or around just below the knees, wherever is most comfortable. And from here, start to do some circles here, doing a little massage for the back. So the hands are on the legs, just as a way of stabilizing the low body. Just feeling the back of the pelvis, really feeling this circle of movement in the back, switching directions. In general, if you're looking for a number that sometimes that helps people, I usually do 5 movements, pause, and maybe do another 5. And coming to rest here if you're ready. We're going to spread the arms wide at shoulder height, resting on the ground with the palms up, and allow for the knees to fall towards the left. And falling towards the left, just allowing the body to settle. And you may notice that if you have any tightness, or this is just feeling like it's stretching a little bit further than you're able to right now, slide the arm down, the right arm down by the side, and bring the right hand to the right rib cage. In fact, everybody go ahead and try that, because what that will do is it'll just give us a little bit more awareness of the small muscles that are always working and moving in between the ribs. And just allowing for the breath as you breathe in, this expansion between the ribs. And as you exhale, the ribs coming back together. And now reach with that right hand again and just see if there's any difference now in terms of any tightness or just the ability of the shoulder to sit a little bit closer down towards the floor. And from here, we're going to actually, just if you can, keep your fingers on the floor. If this is too hard on your shoulder, you can raise the arm up off the floor to where it feels like a good range. And from here, start to bring the arm up, sweep it up, around, over the side, so that we're doing a type of circle with the arm. So bringing it up, over, and around to touch the left hand, and then bringing the right arm back all the way down by the right side. As you do this circle movement with the right arm, the head is going to want to naturally move. So imagine, if you'd like, you can have the eyes follow the fingertips. As the eyes follow the fingertips, the head will move along. We're going to pause here with the right arm down by the right side. And from here, just allowing the head to turn from left to right. Just being very gentle and careful as you do these rotations. There's a small muscles in the vertebra here. So what's nice about this movement is it's giving support for the head so that these muscles can release tension just a little bit more easily. It's far better for these muscles to have movement than to try to stretch them right away. And bringing that right arm stretching out to the side again. And again, notice, okay, how does this right arm feel on the floor? Is the shoulder a little closer to the earth, to grounding and connecting with the earth? Are your bones a little bit heavier? Are you able to receive and meet the earth just a little bit more? And from here, bringing the knees up to center and just noticing how that movement has shifted the energetics of the right versus the left side. Does the right side feel a little brighter, a little bit more flow? Has it changed at all? And we'll now move so that the knees fall to the right. And you might notice that the left shoulder might be a little different than the right. It might even surprise you. Maybe it has more range of motion than usual, maybe not. But slide that left arm down and bring the left hand on top of the left rib cage. We're just going to take 5 breaths here, breathing in, expanding through the ribs, and breathing out. As we do this breath, we're going to do something a little differently. As you exhale, just allow yourself to sigh. So inhale, expand, and sigh. As we sigh in this position, just allowing, as we inhale and expand, just a little massage for the heart. Maybe allowing for a little more tenderness and compassion here as we smooth out and open up the space between the heart protector and the ribs. And from here, stretch that left arm out again and just feel, how does the shoulder, how does the upper body feel in this position? Is there just a little bit more sinking, a little bit more presence in the body? And from here, allowing this left arm to move across the floor in an arc to touch the right hand. Again, noticing if that causes any pinching in your left shoulder, then making sure you can lift the arm up and do the circle in a modified way. But in either way, the position that you have the arm, whether it's touching the floor or if it's a foot off the ground, and allowing for the eyes to follow the movement. And doing your best to see if you can smooth out this movement as best you can. Now, you may notice there might be a part in there where your shoulder is clunky or there's just something not right. If you'd like, you can experiment with bringing the left hand to the shoulder and letting the elbow do the movement. And unwinding that left arm long. So now both arms are on the floor, just feeling the body sinking into the floor, allowing the head to turn from side to side. If you'd like, you can do a very gentle rotation, looking side to side, but also maybe looking up and across and down. And coming to rest here for a moment, just really feeling the body. Noticing if the left shoulder, the body in some way has shifted. Maybe a little more open, a little bit more in the bones in the body, feeling present. And on your next exhale, sweeping the arm across, so the left hand is in front of the chest, and we're going to press ourselves up into a seated position here. And bringing the legs in front of you so that the knees are bent in front. Now, for some of you, this might really be hard to do. So make sure to, again, raise yourself up. And if you can't reach the floor, that's fine. They might be a little bit, the knees might be a little off the floor. And we're going to move the legs from side to side, just very consciously and carefully. It also helps to have the hands behind you as you do this. So this is a way of just really very gently bringing some movement, some fluidity, lubrication to the hips, and the sacrum, the pelvis, the low back. And as you rest back onto the hands, you're giving the fingers and the wrists a little warm up here as well. And we'll come to pause in whatever way you were not sitting when we started. So if you started with your knees to the right, now sit with your knees to the left. And bringing your hands in front of you, linking the fingers together. We're just going to press out here. And press out as far as you can, drawing the shoulder blades apart. Inhaling the arms up. Exhaling down. Now we'll do 4 more breaths. So just inhaling, exhaling. And last one. We're going to now go on to a table position. So that means all fours. So the knees under the hips. Hands are about an inch in front of the shoulders. The fingers are spread nice and wide. If you're looking for some alignment cues, just think of the middle fingers lining up with the sides of the mat, if you have one, or straight ahead. We're just going to take 5 movements here of rocking forward from the heels of the hands through the palms, through the joints to the tips of the fingers. So just really feeling this movement through the wrist and the fingers. And just noticing how your weight distributes. So making sure that you're also getting the inner part of the palm. If for any reason this causes any kind of pain, or you feel like on some level you might pay for this later, then by all means, take a mat or fold even the mat that you're on right now, or a small cushion. Place the heels of the hands on the mat or the cushion and try this movement again. And from here, we're going to press back now. So pressing back through the fingertips, palms, into what some people call a child's pose, and then pressing back up. Adjusting the knees if you need to. Some people find that they're able to do this with the feet a little wider. Try doing it with the toes curled under to give a little stretch for the bottom of the feet. And we're going to move into a downward dog, upward dog movement here. For those of you, if that sounds really challenging or might take you out of the TLC, tender loving care that you're trying to cultivate for yourself, just sense and feel what movements are best for you to do right now. Something that takes you out of the body and you start to over challenge yourself is not necessarily good. So from here, curling the toes under, and those of you following me, just lifting the knees and pressing back through the hands. Inhaling forward onto the plank, lowering the knees. Pressing the tops of the feet down, pressing the pelvis down, and lifting through the chest. Inhaling. Exhaling, pressing the bottom back, curl the toes under, lift the knees, and press back. So we're going to continue that movement. Inhaling, coming forward, dropping the knees. Exhaling, turning the toes under, lifting the knees, pressing back. Inhaling forward. Trying not to let the chest collapse, keeping as you press back long through the arms. Inhaling, dropping the knees, pressing the pelvis, yet lifting through the chest. And last one, breathing back, pressing back. So coming forward, coming back into this table position, we're going to just take a breath here for a moment, just noticing how the body is feeling, how the mind is feeling. There's a type of smoothness in the mind that starts to happen as we go deeper into the practice. So if you need a little more challenge, some of you might need a little bigger or faster movement. And some of you may not. Some of you might need to go a little slower. So from here, drawing this left foot forward out to the side towards the left pinky, and just seeing how far you can bring it. You know, some people can bring it to the left pinky, some people can bring it halfway, but just noticing what feels easeful, and then bring it back, and then bring it forward. Just feeling and moving the hip. And as you do this movement of bringing the foot forward, allow for the knee to move over the toes just a little bit here. In order for the body to go downstairs or go down hills, the knee has to travel over the toes a certain amount. So pressing back through the foot, coming back onto the knees, but also bending over the foot. Feeling the strength of your legs and your body, the connection to the earth. Remembering about benevolence around you. Shifting to the other side, sliding that right foot up, exploring the range through the hip. Like, bring the knees together to pause, let your hips sway from side to side, and then reach that right knee or right foot forward. And you might find that as we do these movements, that part of you feels better when you're doing a movement that brings your chest in. And some of you might feel better when you lift through the chest. So taking note of what feels right for you. We're going to transition into a standing position by sliding forth the foot that feels right for you, left or right. And then bringing the same side hand to that thigh. Turn the opposite toes under and press yourself up into standing. We're just going to pause here for a moment and just notice how just coming into standing creates work for the heart. And yet, the loving compassion that is around us at all times doesn't ever really change. What changes is our perception. And what our bodies are doing. So continuing to get grounded, we'll take a moment here just to shift our weight forward and back, maybe taking a glance down and looking at the feet, making sure to have the feet, the toes pointing straight ahead. This just allows for, it might be that you tend to stand or walk with one foot turned out or in. So this is just a way of bringing awareness to what might be different or the same. But as we practice, it is helpful to have the toes pointing straight ahead, knees over the foot, not too far in or not too far out. Like you can let the arms also move back and forth. And as we do these standing movements, allowing for the eyes to rest in the lower third of our visual field, maybe 2 meters in front on the floor in front, letting the shoulders relax away from the ears, the mouth to be soft, brow to release. Pausing, coming to a still position, somewhere balanced between the front and the back. Noticing the rising of energy from the earth into your being, even as the coolness of the air above is sweeping through. Allowing the body to continue its journey here by moving side to side, feeling the inner and outer edges of the feet. And coming to a pause again in the center here. And we'll do that movement again, but this time just allowing the arms to freely move in a rotation. You might notice that as you do this, you might want to widen the feet out a little bit just so that the arms can transfer the force of this side to side movement a little higher up through the body. See if you can naturally start to allow the arms to swing until they're about shoulder height. Not too much effort here. This is just a transfer of power from earth to sky, earth to the water of the heart, and from sky and the heart down to the earth. Start to slow down, bringing the arms down slowly, eventually coming to rest. So bringing the feet in a little bit closer, we're going to go into what some people call a tree pose. This is a very good pose to do for anyone that's working with issues, stagnant energy in the pelvis and in the trunk. We're going to shift the weight over to the left leg first. So about 75% of your weight is here, engaging the thigh and the hip. It's really squeezing the thigh, squeezing the hip. We're going to turn that right knee out and rest the right heel on the inner left ankle. Now, to help balance this position, to make it into a position of strength and connection, we're going to press down through the left foot, squeezing the hip and the thigh, but also simultaneously press down through that right knee, imagining as if there's a force pulling the right knee down towards the ground. So it's not pressing down with the right foot, it's pressing down through the long bone of the right thigh. You'll find that by doing that, you're engaging that right hip. And from here, scooping the energy of the heart and the benevolence around you into the palms. Pausing here with the hands in a prayer position, remembering the intention of our practice. And releasing, coming out of the pose, releasing the hands, releasing the foot. Just noticing the dimension and change between the left and the right sides, front and back. Maybe allowing for a smile for the face, little slight smile, which allows and helps the nervous system to balance even a little further. We're going to shift now the weight towards the right foot, engaging the right thigh, right hip, turning the left knee out and resting the left heel on the inner ankle of the right. And scooping that energy into the palms, coming to rest at the heart. What is above is below. What is below is above. Letting the eyes rest. One point in front of you on the floor. And releasing the hands, releasing the feet. We'll go into some poses here that help to open the chest a little more. So coming to the top of your mat, or the top of your movement space, with your feet hip width apart. We'll go into a lunge here, stepping back with our legs. Now, when you do this, just make sure if you're feeling unstable or anxious, if you haven't been exercising a lot lately, make sure you have a wall or a chair nearby just to help yourself with any kind of, just to help support yourself. We're going to shift the weight over to the left like we did before, raising that right knee and stepping straight back. Pressing back with that right heel, but the right heel is actually off the ground. So we're balancing the body between the left foot and the ball of the right foot, with the trunk aligned and centered between the left and the right legs. Maybe taking a moment to look down at this left foot, making sure that the knee is over the ankle or the foot. Taking a moment just to bring the hands to the hips and just checking the position of the pelvis. Maybe tucking the tailbone down towards the floor. As you do that, this will open up this right hip just a little more. If you'd like to assist that, you can place the right hand at the right hip as the tailbone drops, maybe lifting this very gently through the skin on the right hip. Lifting through the top of the head. And then releasing the hand, we'll take 5 movements here of sweeping the arms out to the side, palms up, inhaling, looking up. Exhaling, palms facing out, arms coming down. And just continuing that breath of arms in and out. And for this last exhalation, we're actually going to exhale the left hand down towards the left thigh, but reach back with that right hand, turning the right foot to face forward, reaching back with that right hand. So it's like a half warrior 2 pose, if you're familiar with yoga. And from here, we'll inhale, sweeping that right arm down and reaching up in front of the left knee. And doing a full circle here, just reaching through the fingers, opening, reaching. If you'd like, you can exhale through the mouth here, just releasing any tension through the heart and the chest. And one last movement here. Inhale, sweeping back. And exhale, sweeping the arm forward. And as you sweep the arm forward, you're going to step your feet together, reaching the arms overhead. Inhaling. And exhaling the arms down by the sides. Taking a moment to notice any sensation difference in the body. From here, shifting the weight over to the right side, gauging the thigh and the pelvis, reaching through the left knee, lifting up and stepping back. Again, taking a moment to check the right knee, press that left knee back, maybe even bringing the left hand to the front of the left hip and lifting as the left knee presses back. Lifting through the chest, through the top of the head. And from here, reaching out with the hands, fingers spread wide. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. 3 or so more movements here.
And this last exhalation here, bringing that right hand down to the thigh, left arm reaches back, left foot turns and faces forward of the left foot. And then exhaling, sweeping the arm up or forward. Inhale, reaching back. And this last one, inhale, reaching back. And then as you exhale, sweep forward, step your feet together. Inhale, the arms over the head. And exhale, bringing the arms down. Take some breath here. 3 breaths to just feel the body more if you need. We're going to transition to a seating position, and we're going to end our practice in this seated position. For those of you who really like to end on the floor, you're more than welcome to go ahead and do so. So continuing with fostering this quiet inside, we're going to move into pigeon, which is drawing the resources and energy inside. So we'll start first with sliding the left foot in towards center and bringing the right ankle on top of the left knee. Again, for those of you who like to do pigeon on the mat, you're more than welcome to do this and to finish your practice with any kind of positions or stretches that best suit you. For those of you who are following me, we're going to continue into this inward focus pose of protection, but also drawing in. So from here, we'll start first by opening, by lifting through the chest, letting the shoulders drop, and then hinging forward over the hips. You'll feel a stretch in the outer right hip. And then when it feels that the stretch is as far as you can go, gently, then allow for the chest to fold forward and the forehead and chin to relax forward. For this position, we usually do a few more breaths here, maybe 10 breaths instead of 5. And very gently allowing yourself to come back to sitting, keeping the softness and inward dwelling. We'll release the right foot, mindfully placing that right foot on the floor, bringing the left ankle to the right knee, and shifting the body, lifting through the chest, through the top of the head, hinge forward over the hips, allowing the body to fall forward. Gradually, the chin comes back towards the chest. And pressing yourself back up into standing. or into sitting, I'm sorry. Allowing both feet to settle onto the floor. Gonna do one final move here of sitting Matsyendrasana, which is a twist. So from here, just allowing the body to twist to the left, lifting through the top of the head. Take 5 breaths here. Keeping that inward focus, allowing for both sit bones to ground down through the floor or the chair equally. Letting go of any remaining tension here as we exhale, moving back to center. And we'll turn to the right. Three more breaths. And releasing the body back to center. Just allowing your body to settle, letting go of all technique here. We'll go into a sitting Shavasana position where we are just letting go of anything, any remaining tension or have-tos. In this moment, we are free. For those of you who'd like to continue in this place of deep rest and embodiment, you're welcome to stay. I will be moving over to Jonathan's. Namaste, everybody. I will be teaching Wednesday night before Tara's class. You're welcome to email me if you'd like. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Welcome.
Namaste. Thank you, Rita.